Test, test, 1, 2, 3. Test, test, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. All right. Alright, so I'm going to be doing Jerry from Hack the Box today. So this is a Windows machine. Got a little spoiler alert there. So I'm going to make a folder called Jerry. Desktop. Go ahead and hook up my VPN. Alright. Alright, so I'm connected to the VPN. The host is up, so let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to run an Mmap scan on the machine, see what's running on it. I'll do SC for scripts and SB for versions. I'll do all ports. I'm not going to save an output file because I don't really plan on checking this out after this. So okay, so the host is down, so if this happens I'll just drop a PN flag so I can continue scanning even if it gets bad feedback from the firewall there. So let me go ahead and open up a report viewer for me really quick. Just so I can write some notes here in a report for myself. Alright, so our target is going to be 10.10.10.95. Drop some results there. That Mmap scan. Really not too worried about that. Okay, so while that Mmap is running, let me go ahead and run over to the machine, see what's running on it. Maybe there's a web server or anything like that. Nothing on port, I don't know why I put port 80. But so maybe it's not a web machine. Let me go ahead and see if I can do FTP or something like that. Mmap's done, so I see here that we have port 8080 open, running Apache Tomcat. Looks like it's a the JavaScript engine there. Okay, so let's go check out port 8080. Running Apache Tomcat. Edit that into here. 7.0.88. Go ahead and poke around, see what's going on here. I don't think Apache has /admin, does it? No. Alright, so first thing I see here is obviously the version of Apache. We could definitely search for exploits of Apache, but I'm going to go ahead and check out these links. And then we get a login. Prompt for a login. So we get /manager/status. This is interesting right here. So please add manager GUI to a user named Tomcat with the password of secret. So I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. I would hope that's not the login, but that most likely is the login. But let me just go ahead before I type that in. Check out what else we have going on here. So host manager as well. So it looks like these three things here are going to be giving us our login. But really quick, since this is there's no FTP, since this is a web server, I'm going to run a Nikto scan on this. So Nikto minus Nikto host flag and then the IP address. I believe I have to specify a port for Nikto. Let me just see what the flag is for port. It's port. Got it. So I'm gonna run a Nikto scan on this host 10.10.10.95 with the port of 8080. Let that run. I could run a directory buster, I believe, but why not? I don't think anything will hurt from there. Not exactly sure that's how derb works. Just so I can have some scans running in the back while I do some things here. Nikto already returned some results. Get ahead post put method is interesting to have on a web server. So yeah, so the HTTP put method could allow a client to save files on the web server. That's usually something you can do using burp, so that's probably one way you can get in. Using burp to get that request and modifying that request in the burp repeater. If you're not sure what burp is, it's a software, burp suite. I don't know if I'm going to go with that route. What I think I'm going to do first is try to get access to the... Probably going to try to brute force this, or if I even have to brute force this. Considering that when you don't type something in, it'll tell you username Tomcat, password of secret. So let me go ahead and try that out. Username Tomcat, password of secret. That's just a little bit ridiculous. So it looks like we're in see more information such as the Apache server version, the operating system. We're running Windows Server 2012. But what's more interesting really quick here, and we know the architecture is 64, so we have a 64-bit. So this is actually interesting. So you can actually deploy, it looks like you can upload WAR file. So deployed directory or WAR file located on the server. So it looks that what we can do here is upload a file. If you're not familiar with what WAR is, .war, it's extension. It's like .rar or .zip. There you go. So it's WAR file is used to distribute a collection of jar files, Java server pages, Java servlets, and Java classes, XML files, etc., etc. So it's a compiler. It's a way to zip up, I would say, your Java files. That's one way to look at it. JavaScript files, things like that. So let's see, we have some examples. Documentation. And who's to say that these alone, well, to say this might not be vulnerable itself. All these things that we're putting on here could be vulnerable. But so this is interesting. So it looks like we can upload things. Cool. So I'm gonna upload a WAR file. And from what I'll do there is I'll probably navigate to it and I'll execute it and I'll have a listener on it so I can get my first shell. So I see how I want to do that. Before I do that, I do want to run Hydra. Even though I already have access, I would love to just demonstrate the Hydra. Using Hydra on this. Because in most cases, it's a little ridiculous that they would put the login, you know, right on that page. And it is possible. I mean, people can just leave default logins on their machines. It's very common. Believe it or not. But what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to brute force that. So I already have, I'm already logged in. Let me clear my cache or something here. You know what? Let me not do that. 'Cause I do not want to log back in to a certain thing there. I'll just let Nikto continue to run because why not? Derb. Looks like it brought some directories, so I'm familiar already with this host manager and manager directory. As we can see, host manager and the other directory we're just in. Curious to see what these two are. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I don't think I need any of this information at this point, so I'm going to clear out that derb. What I do want to do is actually use Hydra now, see if I can brute force that. Just for good demonstration purposes there. So Hydra -H. So what I want to do is I want to get access. Let's pretend that if there was a way I could log in, that would be great. Yeah, I can't log out. But I'm going to see if he'll still let me brute force it there. So let's say I want to get access to this and I want to brute force something like this. And if I wasn't lucky enough to have the username and password right here on this main screen, I would go ahead and use my Hydra tool. So I went for the help screen on Hydra. I want to check out some things here. And give me examples here at the bottom. So Hydra -L username. I want to use a specific username. I don't have a specific username. I'm gonna pretend I don't. So I would put capital L and use a list of usernames. Same thing with capital P flag, a list of passwords, and then the directory I want to go ahead and work in, which is the server. So I'm going to use a combination of things here. Combination of things listed here in the options. Right off the bat, I know I'm going to have to use the minus lowercase s for the port. Because this is not the typical port 80 port. By default, Hydra runs on port 80. I'm going to have to go to 8080, so that's a flag I'm definitely going to have to use. Capital L is what I'm going to have to use if I want to use a file for usernames, and capital P if I want to use a file for passwords. But what I think I want to do is get a compilation of a user and a pass list. So instead of using LMP flags, I'll use capital C for a file, because I'm going to go ahead and find a file that's like this: login : pass. And I think a good one here is from seclists. So you can actually just Google seclist GitHub. Since I'm here, I'm actually going to go ahead and go work in this directory. So sudo git clone. It's a live machine. I'm not too worried about organization or anything like that. I just kind of want to have everything in the directory I'm working in. I'm even going to boot up Hydra in this directory just so I can have it here. Wait for seclist to finish downloading, and I'm going to look for a good file there. Alright, so I'm going to go into my seclists. What else do we got in here? Instead of navigating through there, I'm going to navigate through the GitHub. So I do want to go through passwords, default credentials is something I would like to go through. I am looking for some default credentials for Tomcat. Perfect. You can see they have some for SSH, some for Telnet, for VNC, FTP, MySQL. I believe they have SMB somewhere. I've seen SMB. It's probably in a different directory. So I want to use this one actually. Tomcat default better pass lists. So that was in passwords. Right, passwords, and then that was after passwords. We were in default credentials. Spelled the word default wrong. Default credentials, and from in here we have that Tomcat file. So I'm actually going to copy this to the main Jerry folder just to make my life a little bit easier. So I'm going to copy this file to my desktop Jerry. I'm actually going to navigate there as well. Whoops. Clear all this out and we should see our file there. Beautiful. And I'm even going to boot up Hydra from this folder just to make my life easier. Go back to that help screen. It's a little bit bigger. those for now. Okay, so the way I want to do it is I want to go Hydra, leave it big C, login pass. So big C, and then I'm just going to go ahead and copy that in there as the file. Since I'm already working in that directory, I don't have to type in all that extra goodness. After this, I am going to have to type in the -s, lowercase s, because I'm going to be working in a specific port. It's going to be port 8080. I am going to type my target 10.10.10 95. And then other thing I'm going to have to actually write here is my service. Alright, is it service? Another thing you could do, by the way, instead of typing in the port and IP, is you could use -m and specify a list of targets, but I'm only going to do one target, so I'm just going to write it out here in the command line. But what I'm looking for now is services. So supported services here is FTP. You know, they have a bunch of things. I believe they have SMB. They have a lot of good things here. So what I want to specifically use is HTTP. Alright, so what I'm going to want to do from here is use HTTP. Apologies. So let me just explain that. So I'm going to use HTTP, and then I'm going to use the GET. HTTP dash, so HTTP, I'm not going to use HTTPS. Even though you could use HTTPS. But for this example, we're going to use HTTP dash. Out of these three options, I'm going to go ahead and use the GET flag. So HTTP-GET will actually go ahead and work for us as our service. For Hydra, I should be able to just go ahead and hit enter, and it will go ahead and start basically trying all the combinations in this file, the user:passwords in this file. For Tomcat default passwords from SecList, it's going to attack this IP address on this port using this service of HTTP GET. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter, see what happens there. And that's a lot of it. Well, that's probably not right. It's probably not right. I really wish I can log out of this, but that's probably not right. There's no way that's right. Yeah, I did something there. What I think I did was I forgot to mention that we're trying to get into this directory, host-manager. So let me actually type that in now at the end, host